And then you share it on yours, and then I share it, right?
Yeah, we're going live now. There's Troy Horton here. Get ready for another hilarious and eye-opening episode of Our Blended Journey podcast, episode number 5, as we dive into the fascinating world of our dietary habit. Because I like catfish, gizzards, and coleslaw, and Tammy's, I think she's 20 years without having meat. Plus, we'll also share some experience we've had navigate different looks we get. Looks that we get are far different when we're walking in OTR than they are when we are in Alexandria or Campbell County. Should we get a dog or not? I say no. Tammy says yes, but I really kind of want a dog, but it's kind of be tough. Then on the last topic, one of our guilty pleasures is reality TV. And one of the shows that we've been watching is 90 Day Happily Ever After. We are watching the tell-all, and we're going to kind of discuss that. Join us live this Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You can watch live, or you can always go back and watch later. Every week we send the most engaged viewer a free gift. All you have to do is like the show, make a comment, and you have a chance to win a free gift from Our Blended Journey podcast. Coming to you live from Dayton, Kentucky, the United States of America. Our Blended Journey podcast, episode 5. What's up, everybody? Tarris, Troy Horton here. I'm with my beautiful wife, Tammy Horton. Episode number 5. How are you tonight, honey?
I am good, sweetheart. How are you?
Good. You have a good. Have you been since last week? You want any updates on how you doing?
Doing good. I look like I saw 25 lovely, beautiful people already this week. I'm doing good.
That's awesome. Get like every week we do so far. If you like our programming, leave us a comment. We do give a free giveaway every single week. We send something out to somebody. We've got some pretty good topics tonight. We talk about our different dietary, how I eat meat and my wife doesn't. We are talking about what's the other topics. We've got the dog, and we're going to revisit the dog topic because we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we had technical difficulties last time. The looks that we get. Mm-hmm. When we're out and about, whether we're in OTR or we're in Claremont County, the looks are different. And what was the last one?
I think we're going to where we are. How are we navigating politics?
90 day Fiancé, 90 Day Happily Ever After. Our guilty pleasure of watching 90 Day, which
that we actually had purchased the last episode.
That's wild. So I guess we can just jump right into it. We talk about our different dietary habits. When we first started, to me, it's great because I get to pick out wherever we want to eat because, and so you pretty much told me that from the beginning, like that since you don't eat meat, I can pretty much pick out wherever we want to go eat most of the time. So it's pretty cool about being married to someone who's we had to blend our eating. And would you like to talk about my newfound food? I like the lamb, and I've eaten a lot of lamb, and it just you don't like the way it feels, or what does it gross you out?
Well, anything animal wise, as far as flesh, grosses me out. Well, growing up on a farm, having to participate in the slaughter of animals, there's a smell that you just can't get off your hands. And washing or rinsing the dishes or cleaning up after dinner, that lamb smell, it's almost like you got to get bleach to get it off your hands.
So how did you come about being a vet? I don't even know how do you call, what is the name of your dietary, how do you describe your dietary self?
I'm vegetarian, 19 years, not 20 yet. That's next year. So I've been a vegetarian since 2005. I dabbled in it before, but back having kids in the 90s, you were told it's harm to the child, to the fetus, to the baby that you're carrying to be a vegetarian. So in 2005, I switched back, and I'm vegetarian keto Atkins. Yeah, more Atkins because I need more protein. That's just how my body responds than the basic keto.
So with the of the rise of Ozempic and things like that, I mean, how important is it for you to maintain for the discipline? I see whenever I look at your dietary habit, I see discipline. Like when you fast all day on Mondays for 24 hours, and I'm sitting there popping M&Ms in bed. I mean, I know it's going to be kind of irritating, but
it's just the discipline that you how does that work?
Oh, honey, it's not 24 hours. I do at least 36 to 42 hours. So I don't eat till Tuesday afternoon. You're just not home to see that. What was the question again?
The question is, I admire your discipline. I admire your discipline, and how did it come about? How did all this? How did the lifestyle and how you live? How did that lifestyle? How did you come about that lifestyle?
Well, I went back to being a vegetarian in 2005. 2011, I experimented with being vegan for a while. And then, what's 4 years? So 2020, going through perimenopause and gaining weight, no matter how much you work out or what you do. My OB/GYN, I love Tim. He delivered Bailey. He said, why don't you do keto or South Beach? And it stuck with me ever since. It's how I maintain my lifestyle. It's how I maintain my weight. And I cheat sometimes with you? Like, yeah, you took me to get Grater's ice cream with the kids on Friday after volleyball. But
we deserved it. We won 2 games, so we deserved to go get ice cream after that one. That was a good win.
Yeah, and it was our last game, right? So it was our last game of playing volleyball on Friday nights with our kids and Carol and everyone. It became a disciplined lifestyle for me. I've had some issues in the past, and it keeps me safe, if that makes sense. The foods keep me safe. Now, I could never go back to eating meat. Could I eat cheesy fries sometimes? I probably could if I allowed myself, but I don't.
Tina, I said Tina had a comment. Tina said, hi, T and T. Love you both.
We love you too, Mama T.
So how is it being married to myself, who I eat whatever I want, where we have 2 different type of metabolisms? I eat whatever I want. I choose not to eat pork and beef, and I've newfound love for lamb here lately. But how does that work? How do you navigate that? I mean, it's not hard. I don't see it's been hard for us at all. We've been upfront with each other from the beginning.
We've had to have conversations about that. Like, please don't cook your meat on porous surfaces. The Pampered Chef, or when you use that griddle thing outside, you're very diligent about cleaning it off. I think it takes, for me as well, it takes the pressure off when you say, where do you want to go eat? Unless I want a vanilla Coke, Diet Coke from Frisch's, or I'm craving Indian food, which is not at all Atkins or keto, but it's vegetarian. Those are the only times when I really, really say, hey, babe, this is where I would like to go eat. So it works for us. I don't mind cooking the products or the meat products, but you do with your grill. You do most of that now. And we grocery shop together, so I'm not out there alone trying to figure out what kind of meat to buy or anything like that for you and our kids when we're feeding the kids when they come over. Yeah. And how is it for you? Like, your metabolism, that's irritating when you can lay in bed and eat 5 different flavors of varieties of M&Ms. And I'm like, can I have one caramel one, please?
I mean, like I said, that I admire your discipline, and I admire that your self-discipline, because that's just huge. I mean, but in the same token, I can be around alcohol and not drink it, because it's choices that you make. I think that's when we're talking about dietary choices and things. I mean, I like eating big steaks, but I know that my body doesn't digest them anymore. So it's just sacrifices that you make whenever you're with somebody. And I respect the fact I never will say, oh, come eat this steak. Come jar down on this piece of meat with me. That's just something I would never do.
And you're pretty open. Like, we even have some nights where we have black bean burgers. Like, you're pretty open to trying anything vegetarian that I think there's nothing vegetarian that I've ever eaten that you haven't eaten either.
Yeah. Right? I mean, it's the keto stuff that I really don't get into. It's because I'm scared about that aspartame.
I don't do aspartame.
You're right. You're right. But I'm still scared of it. So whenever you try to give me anything keto, I'm just like, is it fake sugar? Is it fake sugar? Because I'd rather have the real thing. If I'm gonna have sugar, I'm gonna have the the real deal Holyfield.
And I think we've even talked about Ozempic, because that I was it, with the testosterone pellets, I've gained like 4 pounds. So a couple of weeks ago, a friend had told me about this website, and I went on and did the quiz, and they're like, yes, we can ship you Ozempic, over 4 pounds. But you helped me through to talk that was really irrational thinking. And Carol did too. Like, that's very irrational thinking to think about that, because it's also part of the perimenopause and menopause is weight gain. So I find myself being, for the most part, even more strict.
And it's healthy. It's not a bad thing for you to think about having those quick fixes. We all do. I mean, I know and I'm glad that we have each other. We can lean on to each other and say, that's unrealistic. Or, what about the long-term repercussions and when we go to make decisions like that? I think that's extremely special. Very special. I think
it's also beautiful about our marriage that, when I come to you and say, oh my God, there's 4 pounds on the scale, you're like, you don't need, you're very complimentary and very supportive of your weight is perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, you're perfectly designed.
So you're not condescending when I say the 4 pounds or anything like that, or talk about fasting. You're very supportive of everything that I choose to do to my body.
So I guess, like, when we can talk about dietary things, I guess some hot top buttons that we can talk about is, like, culturally, how we blend our diets culturally, and because, like we talked about in the beginning, one of the first episodes that we ever did, we talked about potato salad, raisins in the potato salad, and then how you're joking around when my sister was going to come over, you're going to go get some potato salad and joke around with her. She would have found that funny. We were all, but you being a vegetarian and still cooking food for me, you put plenty season in the food. And plus the way you bake and stuff like that. Good gracious, it's the country part of it. I really like that.
I think that, there's things that you love. Like, it was not this birthday, but maybe last birthday, you love some sort of caramel cake or something. I forget what it was. And Aunt Di came over and helped me, like, do the homemade icing and stuff, and because that was something from your childhood.
Yeah, that's important. Tina said my husband is very supportive of me too. It's a great feeling. That's why
absolutely is.
That's what we're promoting on this show, our Blended Journey podcast. We're not going to get away from what we're promoting. We're promoting healthy friendships, journeys, relationships, whether you're blending your families or just meeting new people. Or we're no secret how my wife and I, we met online, and we're blending our journeys together, and we're sharing pieces of that with you, because you never know, that might be a crutch for somebody. Dietary might be a crutch for somebody, and I know somebody might, if you're a vegetarian and you're dating somebody who's not a vegetarian and they're unsensitive to your needs, or vice versa. If the vegetarian is unrealistic to the other person, it's like, oh, you're gonna eat that meat, oh, you red meat animal lover and killer. Whatever, it could go both ways. So
I don't feel like I ever make fun of you or anything for eating meat, or try to persuade you to. The only thing I said recently was, I can't get the lamb smell off my hands. That was it. Like, maybe you can rinse your dishes off better when you cook and eat it, because I can't get it.
He's like, I love my Tammy.
Oh, thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Appreciate you. Yeah.
And you're also, like, you're very mindful of it, because when we travel, I think maybe I'll give an example, like when we went to Chicago to see Damien Rice, that when we got there and it was late and we went to that one restaurant, and I think all I could get was like coleslaw or something. You're like, hey, let's make sure you get a good meal the next time we sit down to eat.
Yeah, we went to Harold's. It was fried chicken. As I saw Harold's, I heard Corey Holcomb talk about it on 5150 show. I was like, I got to go to Harold's, real Harold's. We were right downtown. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go check that place out. So it was good. We got some lemon pepper sauce from there too, like
lemon pepper seasoning. Yeah,
lemon pepper seasoning.
So is that a thing that Black people don't think white people season their food?
It's not just a thing, honey. Some white people don't season their food. Some don't. Some people some don't. I mean, it's or to a level of that's palatable. Like I'm not trying to race diss or anything like that, but some people don't believe it. Some white people's food is bland, and it's kind of it just is. And I think I can tell when black people or Mexican people are in the kitchen whenever I go to a restaurant. I can't remember when we were in South Carolina or we're in Hilton Head and we were walking by that grill and I said, smell like black people cooking. when we were in Hilton Head, and sure enough, when we hit that corner, when we were going up in that cove, and we were going by to the beach, there was black people cooking on the grill, listening to music. I mean, it's just a thing. And not to say, because I've been around a lot of white people who know how to throw down and cook too. Just saying, pig roast, all those kind of things. So I'm not saying anything about it, but if you can cook, you can cook, and I'm just happy to have a wife that can cook. Let's just say that.
Oh, well, thank you. Even though I second baked the cookies this week.
That was really good, though. But culturally, I mean, if that should be a survey that we should do one time, and we should go around and we can ask people, like we go to the levee and ask people their perception on, other how blended family people cook. Like how people might perceive Indian people cooking with a lot of curry, or like Korean people, Korean food, or now that we're at where we're at in the United States of America, we're all going to be blended in together. We should all embrace each other's culture, in my opinion.
Now, honey, the one thing that I do draw the line on ever making for you, no matter how much I love you, is you all talking about those damn chitlins. You will never catch me.
I'm over chitlins. So I'm not going to eat chitlins no more. I quit eating chitlins probably about 2010, 2011. I got the boys to try it. I got Christian likes them, and Cameron likes them. It's me, my dad, and Christian and Cameron ate chitlins last time, and it didn't agree with my stomach. But I'll never ask you to make chitlins, honey. I never ask you to make. I might ask you to try them. No, I'm sorry. I would never ever ask you to try them either, because you're a vegetarian. I would never do that. But I mean, I might eat chitlins again one day. I might eat. It depends on who cooks them. It depends on who's cooking them, and it depends on what they look like. Because I like them. I like chitlins. I ain't gonna lie. You get some. If you cook them right, if they're cooked right, you can't just eat anybody's chitlins either. You know what I mean? They got to be clean right. You got to get that mud vein. My dad called it the mud vein out of it. You got to get the mud vein out.
We would talk about chitlins at the table.
He wanted those so bad. He said he wanted one more pop before he was gone. That's funny.
Well, I don't even think the dietary. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. With the dietary differences, me being vegetarian and me really holding on to the do no harm, with the Buddhist philosophy and refuge. How do you handle that when I am we can't kill bugs, we can't, harm animals. Henry the squirrel is eating all our tomatoes. There's a spider in the house. I got Charlotte living on my car for the last 3 weeks.
I just respect the fact that you're that way. I mean, you respect the fact that I have my religious beliefs, and my meditation and the things that I believe in. You never.
I'm talking about the animals, because we got the bees on the 3rd floor, and
they're gonna go. They're gonna go. Those animals gonna go. It's just a matter of time till them animals are out of here. Till Henry is gone. But I do how do I to answer the question? I don't know yet. I need to have a better understanding on how these things affect me in a year. Let's say, because perfect example. When we first moved here to Dayton, I was all up in arms about them damn geese out there in that park over there. I was all up in arms. I'm like, how the kids going to play if all them geese are over there pooping and peeing and all that kind of stuff on the field? And after we've lived here for a year, I don't care. Just like the animals in our yard, like the squirrels in the yard that eating all the tomatoes. A year from now, I'm probably not going to care because it's our first year and the tomato plants are coming. Oh, those tomato plants look so good. And then have Henry come and just get the real good ones every time. He just sucks. But I think to answer your question, I don't know. I think I'm going to need a year to answer that question. So if we go back episode 5, season 2, I'll answer that question.
I know, well, okay.
So episode 5, season 2, I'll answer that. I'm trying to think of the next subject that we have. Was it the dog subject? The pro. I think that we should talk about the dog subject, or which one was the one after that one?
Well, since we're talking about animals, let's just go into the dog part of it. And
all right, so
talk about the pros and cons. And I sent you that cute little video of that cute little mini Bernie Doodle puppy.
Just a preface to what's going on. My wife wants a dog, and I am on the fence about having a new dog because I'm not really. I don't want to deal with it. But my excuse for the longest time to not having a dog is because we traveled so much, and now we're not traveling anymore. We got one more trip for the year, and we're probably not going to travel until February, something like that. So we're thinking about getting a dog. So now we can discuss the pros and cons of getting a dog.
The pros and cons. Well, I want to say, like, the most important thing is I spend every day with just Tommy right now. We're in his late stages of life, and he's my number one animal priority. So getting a puppy, Tina, you have to get a dog. Getting a puppy right now, I don't think it's conducive I don't think it's fair for Tom. I don't think it's not fair for Tom. I've never had a puppy in adulthood. Tom is only my second dog ever. Both have been rescued dogs that I have. We together have not, and we will not have the opportunity to raise children together. I've always told you from when we started dating, I said one day I want a therapy dog, and I want to call it Carl for Carl Rogers, and I want to be able to say, "What the fuck, Carl?" from one of my favorite clients. And now that we're in a blended, our offices are blended, where the barbershop's on one side and my therapy office and waiting room is on the other side. How cool would it be to the dog? We ride to work together. The dog goes to work with us, and it's got mom and dad and Christian with it all day. And I know my clients would be thrilled. Our therapist, you and I, therapist, she has a dog, right? We have Dex. He does, that's a real calming thing to have Dex in our therapy. And I want to be able to give that to my clients. Is there pros to it? Yes, those are the pros. What are the cons?
The cons. I got some cons. I got cons.
Okay.
Our parenting styles culturally are different. So, like, for example, if the dog we get a puppy and it can't climb up some steps, I'm going to gently pull it up the steps where you'll pick it up and carry it up the steps. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with either way. It's just we have to figure out how to navigate, how to have that discipline. Because I want to discipline the dog. If the dog pees in the house, it's going to get a stern. You don't do that. Discipline, and then go to like I want the dog as soon from day one sleeping in its crate. If it starts to whine and stuff like that, I want to just let it whine. So I do want a dog. I'm just scared. I'll just be honest with you. I'm scared. I don't want to get a dog and then the dog start running his house. Nah, man.
Ralph and Raymond already run the house.
We got one king in this house.
Is that Ralph or is that you?
Brian said, if you're single and miss getting on your nerves, then get a dog. I love my Winston. Hair long enough though. If you're single and you're having I don't miss. We have Tommy. We have Tommy. Tommy is her dog that we have together from. She's had Tommy for a long time. Tommy's about 13 years old. So we are realistic with animals and do not live forever. So we're trying to transition from one animal to another. And would it be good to have two animals? Would it be But who knows? I mean, that's why we're having this open discussion right now to see about. The pros and cons. I'm like, I really, and what kind of dog will we want to get?
I know we're gonna get stuck on that because you have said for the last couple of years there's this King something
Charleston, like a King
Charles
Charleston
or something, and I have always had my heart set on a mini Bernie Doodle.
So who's gonna win? I mean, you know, we're gonna get a mini Bernie doodle.
No, I don't think it's about win or lose. What I think is when we're ready. The rescue that I watched very closely on Facebook. Who knows what breed though? We know it has to be small. Like I don't want a big dog in the house. I don't want, and you agree, we don't want big dogs. We don't want the kind that shed.
We want a dog we can travel with, and we take it with us whenever we go somewhere. The dog can come right with us. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. We can get an emotional support dog.
Mm-hmm. You know, and there's a lot to weigh in there, but you know, I have looked and I've showed you like nightstand dog crates. I am on board with that. I'm not, you know, and it's something to think about and talk about. And, you know, I want to enjoy this time with Tommy while we have him and then think about it next year.
Tina said they've got a multi-poo named Coco.
I've seen Coco on Facebook. They're adorable.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I'm ready though, because I don't know if I'm just okay. Here's another scenario. What if we get a dog, and I fall in love with it, and I'm the one who's spoiling it and making it undisciplined, and I'm the one who's like, oh, I can sleep with us, and I'm the one like pulling it in the bed and doing all that kind of stuff. Would you be strong enough to say
no?
You can't do that.
No. I mean, I want you say that. See, here's the thing. You say that, but I watch, you know, we have 2 cats and a bird. I watch you with Ralph Stanley. And come on now, discipline. That's what I'm thinking, Becky. I need hyperallergenic because of clients. Bernie Doodles are hyperallergenic.
Man, I don't know about all that. Well, yeah. Well,
Tommy's hyperallergenic.
Yeah, Tommy's a Yorkie, by the way. Tommy's a Yorkie. Well, I mean, I think it's a great something that we can continue to talk about, and hopefully before the end of this season, because this is episode 5. I think we've got 5 more episodes to go before the end of this season, before we regroup and do another season. But I guess it's still up in the air about the dog. I know I'll break. I'm gonna break, and when we come back, I'm gonna have this cute little dog sitting in my lap. I already know it. So,
Mr. Horton, you're the one that brought it up several weeks ago. Getting ready in the morning, you're like, I want to tell you this, but I don't want to tell you this because I don't want to get your hopes up. I've been thinking about a dog.
The only reason I was saying that is because, like, I'm so dead set on not traveling anymore. You know, because the last time we traveled, it took something out of me that I don't know what happened, but I would rather not travel for right now. Brian says Winston is like 6 years old and become my support dog. Like he has a certificate, like he's 100 pounds, but when I have a bad day, he seems to sense it. I lay around, he comes, just wants to sit. Look, is Dexter the therapy, the dog that when we go to, because my wife and I, we go to therapy. And we're not ashamed to say it. We go to couples therapy. We've been going to couples therapy for about a year now.
Over a year. Mm-hmm.
About a year. I mean, for preventative maintenance. I hate it. I don't like it. But I go because we're a blended family, and that's what we do. That's what we're doing. But our therapist has a dog. Is it Dexter?
Dexter,
and Dexter can sense. He really can. He can sense, and I do believe that a therapy dog will be able to sense and be able to absorb some things that go on in the I don't know what goes on in the therapy world, but if it can absorb some of the things that have going on, will be good for you. I think that's just.
Well, I think that's why, and I want to address what Tina said something too. Tina, get one first and let me know how many Bernie Doodles are. Anyway, I think that's what's great about how we have our businesses, because when I have high conflict clients that are, especially couples that are going to be very loud, then Carl can come to the barbershop for a while and not be in that kind of atmosphere, you know?
Did you see our name? We already got the name. This dog is gonna not know what's good, because you're gonna be calling him Carl. I'll be calling him Killa. So he's not gonna know it. I'm like Killa Carl. That's gonna be Killa Carl. Killer Carl. We picked out the name already. And then when we got a dog and then we're running around, we got Killer Carl and we're walking around. Just imagine how many different looks we're going to get then. I mean, because we already get looks when we go out to places now. And I've got a theory. I think it's this hat. I think it's the hat. This hat, whenever I wear this hat out, like it goes either one way. It's a black owned hat. It goes like we were in Claremont County. We were in
Pancake House or something. Was that it?
Pancake, original Pancake Factory. Oh, that food was so good. That food was amazing. But some people were looking at it as funny, but I think it was because I'm a Republican, not because of my hat. I think
it was because you were black.
Yeah, well, that'll happen.
It was elderly white people in there, and we were getting the looks. I wonder, though, if we should do an experiment. But see, then for me, that's ethically wrong. Do an experiment, and I wear that hat.
You can wear the hat. You can wear the hat.
Do you get the yeah, but I think
cultural appropriation. But I mean, before we're doing an experiment too. But I mean, Joe Burrow wears black owned. I know the owner and the founder of Black Owned Macho Means, Eddie Vaughn. I know 100% for a fact that he did not make black owned for black only. He made black owned for pride, and that's what we've talked about this on our podcast before. We talked about this on this podcast before. Just because someone has black pride doesn't mean I don't understand why that makes people so mad. Is why people are prideful about being black.
But I think the connotation. Okay, let's go back a couple of days. Let's say we went in that restaurant, and I wore that hat. For me, I wouldn't think anything of it. I mean, I feel it's not appropriate to do so. But I feel that those people would have translated if I wore that hat as being black owned by you.
Hey, sometimes, you're Horton. You got that Horton on you. You got Horton written on your arm, baby. You got that Horton on your arm. You are black owned. You part of the culture now. Therapy and emotional support and animal are two different things. One is training an emotional support dog is just buying a certificate online so a landlord can make you remove your big dog. So one
ours can be trained because of what I do for a living.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Brian. I think Brian's making a point like people try to get over to get on the motion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What he's saying, he's like therapy dog and an emotional support dogs are two different things. I think that's what he's trying to say. Because there are people who try to get over and try to get an emotional support dog.
I get phone calls. Will you write me a letter? I'm like, you're not even my client. No.
Well, the power of this hat. When we were in OTR, we're walking through OTR and we're holding hands and we're just getting out because we go to Findlay Market every Sunday. Or not, we don't go. We go to Findlay Market when we go to Findlay Market, and we park in this place and we got to walk through the hood when we get to go through there. And we're sitting. The dudes are sitting on a stoop, and dude's like, "Hey man, let me get that bucket hat." And I was like, "Nah, man, it's my hat." But it could have came off as contingent, because that's just how black men speak to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're he's on a corner, I'm walking by, and he's just busting my butt. And, and some people, and I thought about this, if he would have said that to the wrong person, they would have been like, "Oh man, it's my hat. Oh my God, some dude tried to take my hat when I was in OTR. I was like, "No, man, you ain't getting my hat." I said, "It's my bucket hat." And then the girl was like, "Is that black owned?" I was like, "Yeah, it's black owned." And then they were like, she said, "Yeah, that's my cousin." I said, "Who, Means?" So, and then he got loud. And then when we were walking off, I believe you said something like, what happened? I was like, was everything? I was like, "No, we were just two black men talking." It was.
But for me, where we had parked and where we had walked and the voices had escalated, through my lens, it was like, "Hey, I'm clenching your hand tighter. Are we okay?"
Yeah.
And it wasn't because it was a black man. It was because his voice had escalated.
Yeah. And I mean, plus, we have hardly put ourselves in situations like that. I'm very aware of it. I keep my head on a swivel to where we go. And and how we move. So, but it is 2024, and although we like to say that we are in a progressive world and a progressive United States of America, people are still ignorant than in a mug. Ignorant on both ends. I mean, like I just don't understand where, like, how sometimes I think the looks come off as admiration. They don't know. They see how we are together and we move pretty good as a unit. And then they see, and they just don't know. They're just like, they're shocked. I don't know.
We get the looks. I think we talked, I don't know if it was last episode before, like even at Walmart. I go into Walmart 5 times in one day and never get asked for a receipt. We go into Walmart and we get almost every single time we walk out the door, we get not as much in the other Walmart than if we're in the Alexandria Walmart, almost 95% is going to happen. But if we go to the one on 3L, not every single time does it happen.
Walmarts too, man. That's the place that. But in Kentucky, I think around here, there's a lot more interracial couples. You're starting to see a whole lot more interracial couples, and you're starting to see a lot more people who are, like with the climate of things that are going on politically, you're starting to get people who are more wanting to know more about race and wanting to know more about, like different ethnicities and different subcultures and different, like the past couple of weeks I've had to explain, my stance on the race thing, and I am happy that you and our family have me and we have each other, but you have me in situations like this where I can say, hey honey, this is how somebody might feel, instead of people who might not have any kind of connection to the Black community or Black culture, to have a voice of something besides what talking points are. Does that make sense, honey?
That makes sense. And I think I shared with you, like, some of my clients have asked, how are you married to a Republican? Like, how does that work? Our morals and values line up for the most part. And that's how it works. I don't truly care who you vote for. And with that said, you really, I forget when one day this week we were with the kids, Bailey and Andrew, and Bailey had said, Mom, I'm sorry I asked that question. I was like, honey, ask the questions. This is how you learn. Like, I learned from you the difference between, for you in your lens, through your lens, the difference between African American and Black. And I needed to be educated about that because I didn't understand it. Because to be honest, when we got our marriage license, I didn't I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you. You had a certain emotion about it saying African American. And at first I didn't understand that. And so again, it's how we have these conversations.
And just a little preference to go back to describe what she was talking about. When we got our marriage license, there was only a box for me to check for African American. And I don't identify as African American. I identify as Black Negro in a what do you call it, hyphenated. But I'm Black. I'm a Black American. On my great grandfather, on his census in 1880, that the census that came out, he is Black. So I'm a descendant of that's what I go off of. So whenever it's fair, and it's a fair assumption whenever you look at it from a lens of the people who come over that assimilate to our country from Africa or wherever it is, they don't have the same plight as someone whose parents are foundational here. So I have every right to think, but it's good if we say that we're going to move forward as this country in peace, love, and harmony, because we're going to have Democrats and we're going to have Republicans. And, I feel like I'm center right. And most of the people who I deal with, like, who are Democrats who I talk to all the time, every day, they're center left. There's extreme MAGA on the right and extreme progressive on the left that get a lot of time, that if we just concentrate on the center, in my opinion, I think we'd be a whole lot better. But I believe they want us to fight. They want not us, because you and I, we're above that stuff. But I think they want people to fight.
And I think that's what some people get confused on is when they ask how our marriage works. Because that isn't, I've probably, maybe since we've started this podcast, I don't really know where it's coming from, but I've been asked by 3 or 4 different clients about how do we make this work. And I don't see.
Brian said Trump is wrong for saying Kamala Harris is Indian and questioning her being black. He doesn't seem to question that she's black, but if she introduces herself as a race pending, where is she? She can get both as a get it. Just wondering what your thoughts. You understand?
Is Trump wrong saying about Kamala Harris saying she's Indian and questioning her saying she's black? He doesn't seem to question that she's black, but that she introduces herself as a race pending where she is. She can be both, as I get it. Just wondering what you all's thoughts are. That's for a question for you to answer because you had to explain that one to me.
I had to read. I mean, I can read better than that, but I was trying to read.
I think it goes back to what we talked about with her dad being born in Jamaica. So you take over that. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, okay. So the question I think is, I'm just trying to paraphrase, was Trump wrong for questioning if Kamala was Indian? Because he was asked of her. He was asked a question, and his rebuttal was, is she black or is she Indian? And I have that same question. Because at first she was saying that she was going to be the first Indian, attorney general in California. She said that she was the first Indian, and she ran on that. And then she said that she was black. Now she's saying she's black. And I understand identity politics, but I can pull up and we can dead this identity politics things, but she's pandering to black people just like she changed her voice when she went down to Georgia. Oh, we did it before. We're going to do it again. And she's getting a lot of people to help her. And those are my thoughts. If we are going to accept her in the black community, if her father is indeed Irish and Indian, born in Jamaica, that does not make her, in my eyes, black. That doesn't even make her African American because Jamaica is not even in Africa. Jamaica's in Jamaica. I mean, it doesn't make any, that part doesn't make sense to me. I get it. When you're talking about identity politics, you got to push people through. But I would just wish Kamala would just come out and be honest. That's all we want is honesty. She'd win over the foundational black community if she was just honest and said, hey, look, I'm Indian, 3/4 Indian, 1/4 Irish. My dad was born in Jamaica, but I identify as black because I went to a historically black college. I'm an AKA. I code switch. I get it. If she would just say that, but if she's trying to play, I don't like that. That's just fair. That's unfair to me. That's unfair to me. My sisters, my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, my first cousins and bloodline and my lineage. It's disrespectful. So just tell the truth, and she'd win us over. But other than that, I mean, does that answer the question, you think, honey?
Oh, absolutely. I think so, Brian. And I would like for Brian to send us his information too.
We already got, but Brian won the Wheaties box. Brian was our first winner.
When we move back to Kentucky in a few years. Thank you for making Tammy so happy. You both are a great couple. Thank you, Tina. That was so sweet.
Yeah. So the looks that we get, they don't bother me. When people look at us, I think this is take it as a badge of honor because we are ushering in the next generation, and we're 50. You know what I'm saying? There's so many more mixed couples that are going to be coming up around us, and I do think my connotation has changed. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it. People look at us in admiration.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. I mean, I hope that if we could just change one person's views, you know?
Well, I think this is going to be the fun part right here.
If you ever meet anybody like me, just run.
I don't want to meet anybody else.
I think it's really to give 3 years to yourself to someone and have it end like this. I think the hardest part is just having to start over.
So
You just told on us and our guilty pleasures.
I don't mind. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love watching 90 Day. I've got more too. I've got some more stuff. Let me see if I can get here. Pause on that one. We got to go back here to this one because this one's juicy.
Oh, Tommy wants to come up here, Daddy.
Come on.
Oh, do you want everybody to see Tommy?
All right, Tommy. He must have heard Angela.
Season, it took so long for them to have a scene. It's been 7 years of waiting for Michael to have a chance to come to the U.S. with Angela. But just hours before his visa interview, Angela discovers he planned to bring some interesting screenshot documentation with him.
I see a text where me and Michael's fighting, and I'm talking about the cheating. I'm looking at this. Who would put that in there?
Now, Michael has some interesting reasoning behind this.
We need to document our communication to prove we are husband and wife.
There you go, Michael.
And that is why it was included, because a real couple will probably fight about cheating.
But Angela, shocker, she is not happy with him. You're an idiot! She refuses to go to the interview with Michael, which I'm sure only strengthens their case, but at least she feels bad about it later.
I know when I'm wrong, and all I was trying to do, I swear, was help my husband. I was trying to be the wife. I'm just an idiot.
We'll start with Angela and Michael because honestly, I thought they'd been cut from this.
Okay. So what do you think about Angela and Michael? They are the worst.
I feel that, and I hate to use this word because we use it way too much. I feel there's some strong narcissistic traits and aspects of her, and the more that we watch the tell-all and see, you wonder, do they pay her to be that much more mean, or is this who she is? And if she is that way, Michael's so much younger. You know, he was just doing it for a visa.
So do you think that he's going to get the visa?
He's here.
Hold on a second. I got to show this one too. This is a preface. What we're watching, this is the best.
One, Ruth. It's a tell-all like no other.
Next one.
You're manipulative. 24/7 cameras. Right.
Okay, so we started watching this tell-all right here, and it was wild. I mean, what was your moment? There were so many moments in this tell-all that I don't even know where to start, but I'll start with Angela and Michael, and then we can go to Gino. We can go to Gino and Gino and what's her name?
Think of her name right now.
Gino. It's Gino. Okay, so Angela and Michael. Angela is mad at Michael because Michael is supposedly have a girlfriend in New Jersey, and Michael is trying to manipulate her into getting a visa over here so he can leave her. Is that right?
That's what she's accusing him of, yes. So I think they believe the next tell-all there's going to be a private detective or something, or a private investigator she hired on about him.
So Gino, let me see if I can find something on Gino. But Gino, he is upset because all his wife does to him is yell at him all the time. So he doesn't know, he doesn't feel like he could get the word in. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right?
Well, I feel like, the tell-alls that we watched so far has been, why isn't Gino sleeping with her? What the hell is her name? I've lost it.
Yasmin. I think
Jasmine. if you're constantly being berated and put down, and you don't, he is the type of person that needs an emotional connection to feel safe to be intimate. And she does not give him that space. But he also thought she could come over here and he could control her. So I would just want to be their therapist, all of them.
Send those pictures to my current job at the time, and I got fired from my teacher's job. We're talking about my real life, my job, my career was just ruined because of this person and Gino's stupid mistake. I blame Gino.
Did you say anything to provoke it?
Gino got to be careful, man. He got to be careful. He got to be careful.
Did you say anything to provoke the fight? Or was she just attacking you out of the blue?
What did you say?
Gino better be careful, man. We're dealing with her.
Well, you heard me.
That I provoked her.
No, I asked you, did you provoke something or did she start attacking you over nothing?
Wow.
Was there anything that you said?
Wow. She was making fun of me, insulting my physical appearance. She was making ugly comments about the ones that you sent and she look at.
Here we go. Here we go.
And you are really asking me if I provoke her.
Calm down.
What the is wrong with you? All the
Stop
trauma
getting out of control.
Went through.
You're way out of control. Way out of your...
Because you're stupid, man. All the emotional humiliation that I went through.
Yeah.
And the whole world knew about what you did to me. And she sent my naked pictures to every blogger she knew.
Right.
And all these people were looking at myself naked, and you're asking if I provoke her.
She got a point.
I mean, what he did is sending those private pictures to an ex-girlfriend of his. I mean, come on. She should have broke up with him a long time ago.
Yeah. But I think she wanted to come over here to the States too, and she's just. I do think she loves.
Kids behind.
I think she loves him.
Kids behind.
I think Gino. I think she loves. I think Gino. I think that they love each other. I think. Okay. What? Here's another one. Big Ed.
I think it's trauma bonding.
What about Big Ed and the girl?
Liz?
Like the new one. Like
Liz. Low self-esteem kept her in a relationship with a creep.
Oh, this one right here. This one's Angela. This is an Angela.
You know who I like, and Bailey tells she's the same way, is Lauren. Lauren was the one trying to keep the
What'd you say, sweetie?
Lauren's the one trying to keep the peace in the house, and I really like her.
Which one's that? The pregnant one?
Lauren is the one that just had all the plastic surgery.
Oh yeah. This is what we just saw.
You want to get duck up.
If this is what happens when cameras are around, Angela and Michael's drama brings chaos to the house.
There is a problem here! And you are the problem!
Dampening the mood for the rest of the cast, who were This is 90 Day Replay. Oh, are we? Finds himself in one of the worst positions.
Here's what I want to talk about Big Ed and his girl. Why do you think that they brought her on there? Got to get supper ready. It's Callie. I love you, love you too. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, man. Have a great night. Liz, why do you think Liz took her new boyfriend, and what do you think would make the new boyfriend want to go? Because, like Big Ed said,
that's all propaganda for the show. I don't think.
You mean this ain't real?
I don't think it's real. No.
Come on now. This has got to be real. This has got Michael.
Honey, it ain't real. I watched The Housewives. It ain't real.
I believe. I think this is real.
I mean, come on. They made this plot line more interesting by bringing her new boyfriend there, did it not? I hope they're healthy, being healthy. I don't, but bringing him into the house.
Positions to be in with an ex, specifically a recent one. After he's forced to watch Liz and her new man.
Right there. Whenever
that was cruel. I did have empathy for Big Ed. That was really cruel.
That was hard. That was heartless. Whenever he took he took her to the room, and we had to. But Big Ed took it on the chin. He said, "He's getting my sloppy seconds. He's getting my sloppy seconds." And plus, I want some real shit. How much time we got? We got 5 minutes to wrap it up. Want some real. Big Ed has dealt with enough stuff. They have both dealt with enough stuff. It's time for them to just break up, move on, go their separate ways, because neither of them are good for each other. So they might as well just go ahead and just break up and go their own separate ways. Episode 5 in the books, honey. How you feel?
I feel good. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I feel good. I mean, I feel next week we can have some more good topics, and we got probably about 5 more weeks to go.
Do we?
Brian says, change the subject. Is that Olympic woman boxer a woman? Failed the test, complete another competition with another one. My wife, see, honey, this is yours to explain. She can explain this to you perfectly. Like I explained the last thing. She educated me, because I was like, it ain't fair for that man to be beating up on that girl like that. And then she explained me, and I opened up my understanding. So there you go, honey.
The problem is I don't remember the name of the syndrome, but both women in the Olympics, women in the boxing Olympics category last week, that caused all the controversy where they're male or transgender or whatever, all of the horrible things that came out about that. Both women, one competed Wednesday, one competed Thursday. I really don't remember their names, but they do both suffer from a syndrome that their body produces more testosterone than estrogen. And so they were born with vaginas. They are physically women. They suffer from a syndrome that their body manufactures too much testosterone.
So I think I got a clip of it here, so you can let me know.
I'm looking it up. It was O'Keefe and the Lynn. You take.
My bad. I thought I was sharing this. I'm going to go back so I can.
And that's why they failed the gender eligibility test, is because their testosterone is high.
So, okay. And that's what we're talking about, this lady right here, right? This
number of athletes who tried to trick their colleagues into posing as women. According to the results of the test, it was proved that they have XY chromosomes. Such athletes were thus excluded from competition.
What does that mean? She's got XY chromosomes, so she was excluded from competition.
So it's called SWYER syndrome, DSD and SWER syndrome. Its differences in sexual development involves genes, hormones, reproductive organs, but has nothing to do with gender identity. It's false to conflate transgender people with people who are born with DSD. They're raised as female, but may have sex chromosomes other than XX, which has elevated testosterone levels. So it's Sawyer syndrome. That's what it is.
So but it's really a girl.
It's really a girl. According to the National Library of Medicine, they have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome in each cell, which is typically only found in males. But they have female reproductive structures.
So what are they?
They're females that have a syndrome called Sawyer syndrome. I think I'm saying that right. SWYER syndrome. that because of this gene, I forget the word. I can't mutate. What their chromosomes.
We'll check that out next week.
I don't want to see chromosomal defect. I'm trying to be like ethical about how I word this.
We're short on time, so that's something that we can check out next week. Brian, great question, and we are going to come back with a detailed answer next week. We're right at an hour, honey. Do you want any final words you want to say, or?
No, I think next we'll bring what we're doing with our businesses and groups that we're going to be starting.
Yes. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. My name is Tarris Troy Horton. I'm with my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous wife, Tammy Horton, and we'll see you next time on our Blended Journey podcast.
I love you, baby.